eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on?
No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light in our galaxy. Everything. Because everything is in balance. Everything is a polarity.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, weirdos and freaks, welcome. It is time to find out what the hell is going on with the giant buried UFO that was too big to move, that they built a building over it, apparently. Okay? This is what we're doing today. And man, I love this. I love that there are so many of you guys here already in the chat, excited to investigate one of the wildest conspiracy theories to ever exist, potentially. And a lot of those conspiracy theories are coming right. So maybe this one is real. I don't know. I tend to believe it is real, but we really don't know at the end of the day. There is a lot of talk, but over these years, we have collected a lot of clues. And props to all the journalists, by the way, and podcasters that have spoken to specifically Ross Coulthart, but also there's others now speaking about it that have continued to scratch at them to get more information, despite Ross specifically saying that he can't say anything. He said that he can't say anything so many times, yet people still continue to ask him, and I respect that, and may that continue. Now, I want this to be... look, before we go any further, let me just temper your expectations, okay? No matter how good this stream is, we're probably never going to come out of it with a conclusive answer, okay? So let's just set the expectations. What I can guarantee, though, is we will have fun, and I do hope that we actually kind of come up with a few ideas that maybe sound like some concrete suggestions. I'm hoping we do get that. Now, it might be a long stream today, I don't know, but I want it to be interactive. So I've got a bunch of ideas and places here that we're going to look at. Some of them we've probably looked at before, some of them we haven't. I've got a bunch from a very trusted few weirdos that help me out with some ideas as well. But I also want you guys to send in any places, coordinates, or suggestions that you have, and we can get in and check those out as well. Corrupt NPC, thank you for gifting a membership, brother. Appreciate you as always. Yvonne, thank you for the $10. Before we even started, thank you very much. Zeitgeist gifted a membership. Thank you very much, Zeitgeist. Taris gifted 5. Man, you guys are getting showered with love already. Thank you for the support, and congrats to everyone who got a free membership. Sweets says, good morning, Josh and weirdos from North Georgia mountains. Thank you, Sweets. Good morning to you, and good morning to everyone else wherever you are in the world. And Blackout, welcome, you little freak. Thanks for becoming a member. All right, guys, let's get some love up in the chat for those new weirdos. There's members-only videos, live streams, and section in our Discord for those people. Welcome. And let's get into this. Let's jump over here. Now, I think I'm not going to start this off by playing the Ross Coulthart clips, okay? Because I feel like we've all seen those clips many, many times by now. We could almost quote it word for word, probably. However, for the sake of time and efficiency, I have put these clues here on screen for us, okay? And we can refer to these as we go. So these are generally the main clues that we've gathered from Ross over his many interviews over the years, okay? And they are that this craft, this object, whatever it is, was discovered, which I think is a distinction that should be made, that I don't think that this was a crash, and I don't think it was shot down. And I also think that there's a good chance that there's probably more than one. Okay, there's probably more than one of these things. I've done a lot of videos on this. I've investigated this a little bit in the past. And in every one of those videos, people are always yelling in the comments going, it's in South Korea. It's South Korea. Dr. Greer has spoken about this for years. It's in South Korea. I have never thought from the beginning. I'm aware of that. Okay, it's not like I'm not aware of that. But I've never thought from the beginning that this is the same craft, because for one, why would Ross be so coy and sort of apprehensive to talk about it when people were already not only talking about it, but like giving the list, giving the coordinates, like this the South Korea one has been spoken about for a long time. So that's not new. And that's why I think this is something different. And also, along with the other clues, they just don't really fit. So this thing is also too big to move. That does check out in South Korea, though, as well. A building has been built over it in the either exact or similar shape of the craft. And that is like one of the newer details that we got from the recent interview with Chris Ramsey, that this building should resemble the shape of this craft. Now, that doesn't really help us because we could assume that it's a circular saucer shape, but we don't know. We don't actually know that. We don't really know what shape this is, but it can probably help us narrow it down a little bit. The building serves a laudatory purpose. It's a sensitive facility with people working in it, and it's serving a double purpose. Okay, so people are working in it and they're unaware of basically what's below, according to Ross. And that people working in this building are doing so in the best interest of at least two Five Eyes countries. And I say that because that comment was made in an interview between Ross and Jay Anderson. And he said in the best interest of our countries, which would be Australia and the UK. And Ross also recently said that it's not in the continental United States. Now, I don't know if continental United States essentially just means mainland USA. So it could be Alaska, could be Puerto Rico, could be Hawaii, I think, as well. Unless he just meant the USA in total. I don't know. But, Ross is also pretty deliberate with his words. He's specific with the words that he chooses. So I don't know if him saying not in the continental USA is an interesting distinction, meaning that it could be in Puerto Rico. And we do have a place to look at from Puerto Rico as well. So these are our notes. We're going to keep these here. We will refer to them as we need to. And I do think, given the South Korea thing, and this is actually a recent clip, we will start it off with a clip. This is Eric Burleson only about a week ago talking about this, and also Stephen Greer. And I think that they make the distinction clear that it's not the South Korea one. And so I think that's probably a good place to start. UFOs around the world. My brother, welcome. He says Palais des Nations and Parliament House, Australia. We do have the Oz Parliament House one on here. Palais des Nations, though, I'll add that to the list. I've never looked at that, so thank you, bro. We'll take a look at that one. But yeah, Australia's Parliament House, man, the city is like a Masonic. The city's built by Freemasons. It's just like Washington. It's got Masonic symbolism all over it. And Frico Games, wow, they've gifted 20 memberships. That's huge. Frico, you absolute legend. Thank you very much for the love. Let's get some love in the chat for Frico. What a hero. And everything is fake says maybe Greenland. If it was, I'd stick out. It'd stick out, I think. We do have Greenland on the list. We will be checking that out. Like I said, we're going to kick it off with this clip to give a bit of context and as to why I don't think it's South Korea. Here we go.
It's reportedly an object that is not in this country that is so large it cannot be moved, that they've built an entire building around it. And that's one of the locations that I'm requesting to get to. It's going to involve a lot to make that happen, but that may be the final destination.
So that is the claim, and it was made by a Republican member of Congress, that there is reportedly this object in another country that's so big it can't be moved, and a massive structure has been built around it to hide its location. But several questions remain. What is this? When did it get here, and why is it being kept a secret? Our next guests are both trying to get those answers. Missouri Congressman Eric Burleson, who sits on the Congressional Oversight Committee investigating UAPs and is trying to get permission to visit this alleged site, is with us alongside the founder of the Disclosure Project, Dr. Stephen Greer. It's great to have you both here. Congressman, what do we know about what this thing really is?
I don't know that I have any hard evidence of what it really is. I've had allegations from both inside and outside of the federal government that there is this object that exists in another country. I'm not going to mention the country because I've heard of it inside of a closed setting, and I want to protect my classification level. But others may say that I can tell you that it's not in the facility that's been widely reported in the news. But I have been receiving reports both inside and outside of people that have worked in the federal government that there is the potential that this exists.
Okay. Dr. Greer, you have said publicly that this is outside Seoul, South Korea. Is that accurate?
One of them. Now, remember, I have
one of them,
almost 800 whistleblowers who've had direct involvement with this. One of them was with the Pentagon for about 8 years.
Greer nearly went 3 seconds without letting him know that he's briefed over 800 whistleblowers. He nearly got through 3 seconds.
As a very senior investigator and had baseline clearance across 18 black project, unacknowledged special access projects. He specifically knew of the one in the mountains outside Seoul, South Korea. It was so huge they had to build a structure around it. And he was read into this in between 2002 and 2010.
Okay.
So it had.
Yeah, a lot of people in the chat mentioning the distinction between over it and around it. I find it, I don't know. I feel like if they're around it, surely they would be over it. Because if they're just around it, isn't that kind of leaving it exposed? This could just be like semantics a little bit? I don't know.
It had been there for some time. Now, I also know there are others that have been brought down in other locations. And if they're over a certain size, they're very, very hard to move. Imagine if they're bigger than a football field. And you're not going to put that on a semi. So it becomes logistically impossible to move it.
I think so.
In the United States, we know where there are some others, such as near Fort Sill, Oklahoma. There's a smaller one. They built a SCIF, a facility around that one. We have its location. So I know that the congressman can speak, to what.
Okay.
He's limited, but because I'm a private citizen, I can discuss these.
Congressman, are you?
Just had to slip that in there. Yeah, like I know Eric Burlison, he can't really say shit because he's a congressman, but I can tell you. Just come to me. I'll let you know.
You referring to the location in South Korea?
I can't be specific to that location, but there are wide reports. What I can say is that I've seen articles that have pointed to a specific building, and from what I've been told, that is not the facility.
Wait, can you explain why we can't? You're trying to get permission, I assume, from our government and another government or somebody with another country to go visit whatever this thing is. Maybe it's a spaceship, maybe it's nothing. Why can't we talk about where it is? I don't get that.
Again, because of the information was gathered inside of a classified setting on my behalf. What I can tell you is I have been trying to get access to even locations that reportedly have craft that are being reverse engineered, that are even close to Washington, D.C. And I'm having a difficult time getting access to even those facilities that are just within a few miles from my office in Washington, D.C. So to try to attempt to go to another country and get permission at that level is going to be somewhat insurmountable. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to continue to try.
I mean, he is defining it there as another country, so maybe it is just outside of the United States completely. But there are, Greer just rattled one off that there is one in the United States. I've investigated one that we might even take a quick look at later as well, out near, oh gosh, I can't remember the state. Somewhere in the mid Southwest. Can't remember what it was called. Someone said I don't think much of Greer. No, it's not that. I just find his sort of obnoxious personality quite humorous. But I still think he's worth listening to for sure.
It seems like the White House is, at least on some level, behind disclosure. We'll see where it goes throughout the next 3 years. Why is there so much resistance to your request, Congressman?
A lot of it is turf. You have all of the different agencies that protect their information, and it's guarded like it's some kind of commodity. You have committees that protect their turf as well. So if you're not on the right committee, then oftentimes you're turned down, and sometimes there's multiple committees that have jurisdiction over a topic, and they love turning each other down. So the very nature and the difficulty of the red tape system within the bureaucracy of Congress is something that's very difficult to navigate.
Dr. Greer, why can't this thing be moved? We can move mountains as a society. Why can't we move this thing?
Well, it was my understanding it was way too large to move. And remember,
Kind of a shit question. Why can't we move this thing? We can move mountains as a society. Well, mate, if this is the size of 3 football fields and it's lodged into a mountain, I don't know if the same kind of logic applies.
How
I know
large?
who've
Can
been
you
on-
just any idea how large?
hundreds of feet, and some of them have been into thousands of feet across.
And are we
Thousands of feet.
talking about a spaceship?
Yes, definitely. In this case, the one I'm referring to, and there's some others. And the other problem is you can't just chop them up, because I know people who have been on crash retrieval teams with an acetylene torch, a high-powered laser, a diamond tip saw. You cannot cut through that material. It is so specialized and it's so hard.
How
So it's
long
not
has it
like
been
you can
here,
just
Dr.
chop it
Greer?
up.
Sorry to cut you off. How long has it been here? Do we have any idea?
He didn't know that, this particular whistleblower, so I don't know it. He indicated it had been there for quite some time.
Congressman, if you are able to visit this spaceship, what do you do with that information when you get back?
Well, look, if I come under any,
good question,
any
actually.
hard evidence, whether it's physical or video evidence that is absolutely definitive, while I'm going to do what I can to protect our national security and our nation's interest,
So pretty much, if I find out, I'm not going to tell you shit. They're going to whip out the old national security card. You got to love that one.
will not hold back on telling the American people that we are alone or not alone in this universe.
Okay.
That is something that no government has the right to withhold from its people.
I think a lot of people agree with that. And then this weekend, Barack Obama, out of nowhere, said this. Take a look.
Oh yeah, we've all seen this 100 times. We don't need to watch that. I think we can probably end that one there, to be honest. Okay, all right, let's just go to this South Korea one and take a look at it, because the cool thing about Google Earth is you can go back and look at places historically. Okay, so this is, can you guys see this okay? Yeah, you can. This is the facility that everyone always refers to, and this is the latest photo of it that we've got. I thought it would actually be in 3D, but it's not, so you'll just have to deal with that, unfortunately. This is the one. This is the one. And if we go back, hang on, let's zoom out a little bit. So it's listed as an army facility. Sorry. Can you guys see that? Yep. And let's pull it back to say, let's go back 10 years. Sorry, I'm getting used to these controls. Okay, let's go back. So where are we? This is 2015. This is 2005. Let's go 2000. Okay, so we probably don't have much good imagery from what? 2000, 2001, 2002. Okay, this is the earliest picture we've actually got. What if it crashes 200,000 years ago? I don't get the question. What don't you get? What don't you get, sir? What don't you get? It's my understanding, let's pull up the notes here, that this is meant to be, this thing was found. Now, according to the story around this, let's go to the most recent version. According to the story around this craft, or whatever this thing is here in South Korea, is that this got shot down in the 70s or something like that. And it's basically been there ever since. And that there are tunnels all around the lower part of this mountain here, giving sort of like a lower access to this facility. I mean, if we're to go along the line that it's a saucer shape, circle, it does fit the description that Ross has given here, that it's a similar shape to the craft. But, I mean, I don't think this is... I mean, South Korea are an ally. They are an ally, but they're not really a Five Eyes country. And I really do feel like it's a Five Eyes country. And if America knows about it and it's not in a Five Eyes country, they probably would have invaded by now, given them some freedom and democracy, and it would have become a Five Eyes country. I think. That's what I think. So, look, I've never really thought this is the one, but I'm absolutely open to it being something interesting. But I don't think this is the horse that we're chasing here, unfortunately. So what we'll do now, we'll pull it back to what you guys can see on the thumbnail. Okay, we've looked at this one before, but we'll look at it again because this is the Harold Holt Naval Station near Exmouth. This is on the northwestern, well, not even the northwest, like the Western Cape of Australia here. And it's really interesting, obviously, because of the pattern. But what this actually is, this is an ELF array. This is a extremely low frequency array of radars to communicate with not even just submarines. I mean, I believe that's the surface purpose that they use these extremely low frequency antenna array systems to basically communicate with submarines and basically anything at any distance around the world. Like, this is designed to basically hit anything anywhere. And if you zoom all the way in, at each point here, you can't really see because it's, Google Maps, but you can see the shadow at least. So this shadow here gives you an idea. Can you guys see that? Let me get the list out of the way. This shadow here gives you an idea of how tall these towers are. And like, you can see between each tower that these are roads. Okay. So if you're to think of how big a car is on this road and then how big that shadow is, you can see that these towers are enormous. They're massive and they're spread really far apart. And they basically connect together to deliver this signal. The only reason that I originally was suspect about this place was honestly because I didn't really know what an ELF antenna array was. Now that I know, I'm not sure that this is the one. And another reason why that is because it's so close to the edge of the water. How deep could it be? How deep could it actually reasonably be buried here, being this close to the water's edge? I don't know. Also, if it is a find, I mean, it's obviously got to be found somewhere, right? But this would be, to find something on the tip of the coast here like this, it just seems a little bit like, I don't know. And also, I believe this is the military base that Ross Coulthart writes about in his book at the beginning, about a lady. Her name's like Annie Farinaccio, I think. And she in like the 90s, she was like driving along this road here somewhere. She was getting a ride home, and she was getting a ride home with like cops who were American, probably working at this base here. And she saw a diamond-shaped craft hover over their car and around their car at like close distance. So, strange happenings around this area, weird patterns in the floor. These were my original reasons, but I think from like learning more, I don't think this is the one. It is interesting though. It is interesting. And I would be curious if we could maybe find more ELF antenna arrays around the world that look similar to this. Because if there is, then I think we can completely scratch this one out. But it does look cool. I won't deny that. Josh Bartlett gifted 5 memberships. Josh, you legend, sir. What a name as well. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate your generosity. No Sparrow says it could be an ancient building. Oh, I don't think so, because they had to build over it. And it serves a laudatory purpose. Enki says perhaps Antarctica. Buzz spoke about pyramids underground. Yeah, I do want to have a look at Antarctica for sure. I don't think it's underneath like a pyramid or something like that though, because it doesn't really fit the clues that we've got here. Stevie with a big chat says Polarity is the only thing I'll wake up early for. Got my merch in the mail yesterday. Psyched about it. Love these map search streams so much. Thank you, bro. And thank you for the support on the merch store. Really appreciate it. You guys can get your own. The link is below if you want to get some weirdo merch for you or a friend. Thank you very much, Stevie. Okay. Actually, I've got something interesting to show you guys. Let's stay in Australia for a little bit because there is probably a lot to look at here, but this thing's interesting. Only a couple of days ago, Okay, I got this email. Now I would assume potentially whoever sent me it is watching this stream. I don't know. But this is what it says. So you can see here, I got this email sent by some service that provides an anonymous email address. This was sent to me on the 21st of February, 4 days ago. And the title of it was just "Enjoy, you're the first." And it just had coordinates there. Okay, that's all it said. I don't know anything else. I didn't reply. I don't know what this is. Whoever sent it might even be watching. They might even be trolling me. I don't know. But let's take a look at what these coordinates are. I already know what they are. Obviously, I've already looked at them. They're inside Australia. And they take us to a place that is called Tyndall Air Force Base. Or RAF Base Tyndall. And it's also next to Catherine Airport. Okay. So this is an Australian Air Force base that's pretty rural. Okay. If we zoom out a little bit, RAF Base Tyndall is kind of like, you know, it's pretty in the sticks. It's pretty in the sticks. Catherine Airport right next door. Now we can scan back and look at some imagery here. That's actually something that I haven't done yet, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel. Like, I don't know if this is the place, because I don't know if what this person meant by "you're the first." You're the first what? To get told where the giant UFO is? Get shown RAF Base Tyndall? I don't know. What I will say though is, and I don't have the clip up, I probably should have got it, but Ross Coulthart was recently interviewed by Mark Bouris, who is he's kind of like an Australian business entrepreneur, super famous business mogul in Australia. And in that interview, Ross said something about RAF Base Tyndall. I don't think it was nothing about the giant UFO, but he basically said something like, people have been contacting me from RAF Base Tyndall that they have been seeing a lot of anomalies in the sky. So it was something to that effect. So this is the RAF base here. This is like the living quarters. You know, these things are interesting. I don't, you know, other than that, there's not really sort of any geometry here that's like sticking out to me. But maybe if we sort of zoom out to a good place, that looks about good, and we can look back on the timeline a little bit. They meant you're the first creator that they've tipped off. Well, that's generally how I would interpret it as well. But it's like, you know, tipped off to what? Yeah, this isn't it. There is an interesting triangle shape here, but I think this is like the taxiing runway of the airport. Now, I don't know. It could be something for sure. I do tend to generally think though that triangular shapes are more attributed to our aircraft. Like, I don't think triangle is the shape that we're looking for, but I mean, I could be wrong. I could be wrong. All right, let's scan back a couple of years here. Let's go to 2015. Not really much of a change. 2013. 11. Nothing. 7, 5. 4. Oh, okay. It's a big change. Looks like there's a big change, and it's quite blurry from here. Okay. Oh, wait, no. This is 1985. This is 1985. So you go from 1985. The next available one is 2004, which is this one. Phoenix lights were huge triangles. I'm pretty sure not ours. That is true. I don't know. I don't know about the Phoenix lights. I really don't know. I've seen like pictures of this Northrop Grumman craft going around on social media called like the Telos 06. I'm sure you guys have seen that, but I don't know. It could have been that. I really don't know. yeah, I don't really know what to make of this one. To me, like these circles or this triangle, I'm not really seeing much in it. I'm trying to look for what this person is actually tipping me off with this email. Enjoy, you're the first. Literally no other context. I don't know. Let's jump forward again, like 2010, 2011. Yeah, really not much has changed to this place. But at least you guys are aware of it now. So, RAF-based Tyndall is in your repertoire, it's in your vocabulary. And if you hear this base or even Catherine Airport pop up again, you'll know to listen in and take some notes, because maybe this place does have some kind of significance, but maybe it's not the giant buried UFO. I wonder if they sent it to others too. Perhaps. I haven't heard anyone talk about it yet. They didn't spell your correctly. No, they didn't. But, I also make a lot of typos, so it doesn't mean they're completely full of shit. Who knows? I love your channel, Josh. First time catching a live stream. Boom. Welcome to the first timers. Make yourself cozy. Get yourself a drink. Take a seat. All right. What else we got here? I think a big one that people always talk about, like while we're in Australia, we may as well just go down the road and touch on it, because I know people will probably ask it at some point, is Pine Gap. And again, I'm not into, I don't think it's Pine Gap. It's somewhere along here. Look at me navigating the barren outback of Australia by eye. It's somewhere around here. I really want to find it without searching for it. There it is. Okay, this is Pine Gap. Is this the most recent photo? Yeah, it is. This is 2025. Again, I mean, I've done a whole video deep dive on Pine Gap and the surrounding area. And again, to me, I don't think it's Pine Gap, because when Ross talks about this place, there seems to be like a real sense of it's like very sensitive, which Pine Gap is, but the idea that if like Ross revealed it, that this place would be in like some real immediate danger. And I just don't think that would be the case with Pine Gap, because just like Area 51, like the actual entrance to this place is like miles away. You can't even get close to it. You can barely see it hiking the surrounding mountains with a heavy zoom lensed camera. Okay. You can't really get close to it. So again, I don't think Pine Gap is it. Woomera is another big one. We'll touch on this one quickly, and then we'll go have a look at Parliament House, which I think is a little bit more interesting. Woomera, the rocket test range here in Australia, South Australia, my homeland. Shout out to the people from the South. So this is the town of Woomera, okay? This is just where the people live, but this is not the test range. The test range kind of starts from, well, this is the RAF base. This is the entrance. This is the entrance to the main gate of Woomera here. So you can see this is basically where people are coming in. And then from this point, it's actually, do I have the photo? I do. I came prepared for you guys. So you can see here, this is how big Woomera is, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know. Like, if we look at this, look at where Woomera is. It's like just next to my head. See that little dot in the very bottom right-hand side, the bottom right of the red section? That is literally just the town. That's literally just this little town here. And the rest of it, going all out into that green zone, which is still considered the test range, is literally like most of what you can see here. Most of what you can see here. It's massive. So, trying to find this place in there would be like a needle in a haystack. We're not going to scan over the barren red dirt trying to find it. But there is a lot of interesting little places here that you probably could pull up. But that's Woomera. I just thought we'd touch on it quickly, but we're not going to go searching over the desert to try and find it. And I don't know if it is in Woomera, personally. Let's take a look at Canberra, Parliament House. Now, again, just already zooming in on this place, what do we see? Freemasons. You've got the Masonic square. Well, you know, not entirely, but you've got the almost the square and compass shape. Almost, not complete. You've got the compass, not the square. But it is no secret that Canberra was designed by a Freemason, and that is not the only Masonic symbolism there. And before we actually get into this place here, which is Parliament House, you know, the whole story around the ACT, in my opinion, is really interesting. So you guys can see there's this dotted line here that kind of cuts out the middle of this land. This is the Australian Capital Territory, which is a state within a state. So you've got Victoria here that you guys can see. Obviously, this is for my non-Australians. And then you've got New South Wales, which is this bigger chunk here. The main cities in each of those is Sydney and Melbourne, okay? And in the earlier days of Australia, those were the two thriving cities. They always have been and still are to this day the biggest sort of thriving cities in Australia with the biggest populations and like the best sort of economy and everything. Even when that was the case, when they decided to make those two cities were thriving, and this is basically before we really had cars, or I think cars had like just came on the scene, like the Ford Model T. They certainly weren't going off-road. They decided that even though they had well-established and thriving options between Melbourne and Sydney, that they would carve out this random piece of land in the middle of nowhere that has no port access, because that would be the best way to bring in materials to build this place, because there's no cars, there's no train system that goes out here, that they would carve this piece of land out, this random shape, build a brand new city with Masonic symbology, and make it the capital of Australia, which is so strange, okay? Which is so strange. And again, I did a deep dive on this, but to get the materials in here to build Canberra, they had to like get a train out somewhere to like, it was somewhere around here. Like the closest, actually, it was, I'm pretty sure it was Mayfield, actually. The closest train station was about Mayfield. And from there, they would horse and cart the material. That's the story, that they would horse and cart everything that they needed over here until they built a closer railway line to start building Canberra. Okay. And this river that you see here is a man-made river. This whole thing is man-made. And the first initial Australian house, Parliament House, sorry, was here. It's called Old Parliament House. And you can see it's a lot smaller. And there is connections between Old Parliament House underground to New Parliament House. And wow, why does this look shit? I swear Google Earth usually has 3D models. I don't know why. I swear it normally does. It's quite disappointing, actually, because if you've ever looked at Australian Parliament House, it's got a really interesting architecture to it. It's basically sitting up on a hill. Like this central point here is higher than these corners. And that building in itself is surrounded by this circular roundabout style kind of like roadway. And there are lots of claims of people who have worked at Parliament House. Like it's well known that there is many underground parts to the Australian Parliament House because it's built into a hill. Like I said, you can't see it on this mapping. Yes, the 3D is turned on. I don't know why it's not showing in 3D properly, but we'll just have to deal with it. This is built into a hill, okay? That's why it's like there's grass on the roof, because there literally is. It's built into a hill. And so it's kind of like almost technically underground from the very first floor that you walk into, but that extends lower. So there's a lot of people that have spoken about this, that there is potentially something down there. There are a lot of security, a lot of special access doors, and as you can see here, this extends out across this man-made river to these buildings where you've got like ASIO. There's like the main ASIO building somewhere here, which is like the Australian version of the CIA. We've also got another spy agency as well here, intelligence agency. Basically, all of these buildings are extremely significant. The Australian Signals Directorate. All of these buildings are really significant, and they all connect to one another underground. Okay, this place is like riddled with tunnels, and I don't know. A lot of people find it hard to wrestle with the idea that there is a giant UFO under the Australian Parliament House, which I totally understand. That's crazy. But the strangeness around Canberra, Josh, leave his historical view. Oh. Yes. Oh, you are a legend. Can we get some love in the chat for Dr. Groove? That is why it's not 3Ds, because we were still on the historical imagery. Thank you very much, bro. Legend. Now you guys can get a better look here. You can see that this is literally built into a hill. And even if you look at the top, there's a pyramid structure here. So we've already got pyramids in the roof. You've got another sort of pyramid shape on the very top. And there you go. You can see that this thing is built into a hill. The car parks here go straight underground. So like, you know that this thing goes deep underground in some capacity, because you would know that like, that's just not Parliament House. Like what you can see there, a significant part of it's going to be under the ground. Pretty crazy building, right? Pretty crazy facility. And then, yeah, to be surrounded by this circular structure is kind of like a, I don't know, it's kind of like a weird choice, I guess. Maybe it's just a stylistic choice. I don't know. You've got all the other foreign embassies around the place here as well. Interesting place, Canberra. Very interesting place. And yeah, the whole story of the ACT to me is very interesting because, yeah, again, you had these two thriving cities. And when you decided to make the capital of the country, you decided to go in the middle of nowhere, cut out a random chunk of land. Like, you know, why? What is all this? Why down here? What is the significance of this? You know, there might be answers to these things, but like, it's still very odd. Where you have no port access, which at that time was crucial. That was how goods were moved. And you decided to make it really hard for yourself by having the closest train station a long way away, and then use horse and cart to lug all of the materials there. That is the story of Australia's capital city, and that is what it looks like. And if we bring up our notes here again, I'd have to go back to my deep dive, but there is some kind of significance. I believe I read something in the deep dive that they made the old Australian Parliament House here, but they did it knowing like this site here was always meant to be the site. And it was like, because back in, I think it was like 1912 or something like that, when they built this, thereabouts, they just didn't have the resources to kind of excavate and build into the hill. But there was always some kind of significance between this location and and what is now the Parliament House. So there you go. Too big to move, building built over it or in a similar shape to the craft. I don't know. I mean, it kind of fits. At least maybe the outer ring does. Sensitive facility, people working inside of it, fits the bill there. Definitely serves a laudatory purpose. Definitely people working in the best interests of two Five Eyes countries, and it's not in the continental United States. I think it's an interesting shout. Josh, bring up the ley lines map. Let's see if it's on the ley lines. Do they have that on Google Earth? I wouldn't have thought that if that's a thing that I can bring up on Google Earth, I will, but I wouldn't have thought so. Let me know if it is. Roundabouts are anti-American. Are they really? Do you guys not have roundabouts there? That's heretical, bro. No, surely you guys have roundabouts. Come on. B. Willis says, good morning from New Jersey. Good morning, sir. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much. The Hairy Hominid says, I like the outside, the continental US. So my guess is Alaska. I'm glad I randomly woke up at 4 a.m. I love you all. Yeah, I thought that was a really interesting use of words there too. I don't know, but again, I do think like Ross he's trained in law. Lawyers are very good and technical with their wording, and they're like intentional with their wording because that's how they're so clever. That's how they can sort of take you down, right? Because they have that grasp of language. No, it's not on Google Earth. Okay, no problem. Adam says ChatGPT site is live. Josh, please try it for a min. No, sir, I'm not going to advertise your ChatGPT on my live stream right now. We do have important business to get to. I appreciate it though, but the show must go on. Okay, while we're on national houses, UFOs around the world put this one in earlier. So let's check this out. I'm assuming this is the French Parliament House. No, it is the Parliament House in Switzerland. No, it's the Palace of Nations in Switzerland. Maybe that's the same thing. That's just what they call it. Okay, let's take a look here. What do we got? Let's zoom out first. Straight away, the first thing I'm thinking is like, if we zoom out here, where are we in Switzerland? Where are we? Yeah. We're like, you know, we're in Geneva pretty much. Okay. We're in an established city. If this thing was found, which I believe it was, at least that's the way it's explained, I don't think it's going to be found in the middle of Geneva. And that's why I do think Canberra, Australian Parliament House, is a strong candidate because of its location. It's in the middle of nowhere, and this thing was allegedly found. And I think in one of the interviews, Ross also said something like people have been working hard over the last few decades to kind of secure that facility. So I think we could say that it was found in the last, I don't know, 100 years, you know, to be generous, in the last 100 years. Let's go to the historical maps here, though, just to have a look. God, I'm so glad that we figured that out and we've got the 3D maps now. It adds such a better element to the stream. This is 10 years prior. Yeah, there's actually a significant difference there. So that's 2015. Let's go 2005. Earliest one is 85. That's probably not going to look very good. 2002. Yeah, interesting looking building for sure. But also as well, like Ross kind of hinted that this thing might be at least a similar shape to the craft that it's over. They're also using the terminology around a lot, which is interesting. Maybe we should look at CERN while we're here in Switzerland. I think that's an interesting shout. Although it's CERN is underground, right? So you're not really going to get the maybe we can find something here. If we go, surely we can find something. Okay, let's go CERN. CERN underground. This is sort of what I was looking for. So this is the, sorry, let me get that out of the way. The little circle that you can see above the chat there is the is it the Large Hadron Collider? I'm pretty sure it is. That's like the one, that's the main one. But they're building this one now. So the big circle that you can see, I don't think is operational, but it's what they're either currently building or they want to build. Look how big that is. And actually, we can see on this map here, you can see where Geneva is, and you can actually see that little lake there. So you can literally see, if we look at where the LHC is, we can basically, that means the LHC is basically exactly where we just were. Let's go back to the Palais des Nations. This is the same place. We're literally, I think this is where CERN is. Okay, like look at this map. Like look at that lake, and then let's go back and look at this. You can like it's a little bit smaller. We're a little bit closer in, but you can see like we're in the same place. You can see that now, right? Again, I do think CERN is a very interesting place, and what they're doing there, I don't know. I've the amount of people that have sent me this meme, which I love, by the way. I love it when you guys send me memes. The amount of people that have sent me this meme of this t-shirt that's like a CERN tourist t-shirt, and it says CERN in big letters, and like above it, it says like, I got my ass eaten by a reptilian shapeshifter at CERN. That's the kind of merch I want to be rocking. Okay. And I love everyone who has sent me that. Thank you. You know me too well. But yeah, again, this is a big place. I don't think this is the one personally. And you know, it's too close to things that are far too established, in my opinion. Let's make it happen. All right. We've got a super chat coming in. Sure. Oh, come on. Wow. Okay. Hold up. Let me put this super chat in. It's coming with the rest of your comment, though. Okay. This is from Fischler Stickler. And they say, Daddy Greer told me the UFO was here. If this is a South Korea UFO, sir, you're going to get a smack. What is this? This is somewhere in Adelaide. What is this? Is this Hindley Street? Is this a strip club? I think that's a strip club. I didn't go out much, obviously. I don't really like going out, but I'm pretty sure that's a strip club. Thank you, sir. Maybe it is. For anyone who doesn't know, this is like the main clubbing street in Adelaide. Wait, yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, it is. That is Hindley Street. Hindley Street is where you will find all the degenerates. It's like the Vegas Strip, I guess, where all the degenerates are. Great super chat, sir. Thank you very much. I don't think that there is a UFO buried underneath the strip club in Adelaide. However, there is probably some people that you could call aliens walking down that street between 12 and 6 a.m. Absolutely. Thank you. All right. What else we got here? Okay, this is an interesting one. This is a really interesting one, actually. Someone also mentioned it in the chat earlier. And I think this really speaks to the idea that not in the continental United States. This is the Arecibo Observatory. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Arecibo. Yeah. Anyway, what this place is, actually, you know what? I'm not going to try and explain it. I'm going to get Grok to tell, because Grok will tell you a better explanation than I can. And then we can talk about why it's interesting. The Arecibo Observatory was one of the most iconic and productive scientific facilities in the world, located in a natural cast sinkhole near the town of Arecibo in Puerto Rico. Its centerpiece was the massive 305-meter, 1,000-foot spherical radio telescope dish, the largest single-dish radio telescope on Earth for over 50 years. Okay, this is why it's significant, because this is like this is state of the art. Okay, this is the biggest telescope dish on Earth for over 50 years. This is like very significant. And it was built in the early 1960s, operational from 1963, and upgrades in the 1970s and 1990s. Okay, so up until the 1990s, they were taking care of this thing on the surface, right? And I just think why this is significant is because this thing was so important and they've let it rot, essentially. So this is what it looks like today. Okay, you can see it doesn't look anything like these pictures. This is what it used to look like, and we'll take a look at the historical picture. They've basically let it rot on the top, and this was a big, significant facility at some stage, which obviously has some kind of operations below it. And also, there's a helipad here. You know, that could just be for quick access, but, you know, it must be an important place. Let's look at some of the historical imagery. Let's go back a little bit, just to give you like a wider lens of this place so you guys can see. Actually, we'll zoom right out and we'll zoom back in. So this is in Puerto Rico, okay? Right up, kind of in the middle of nowhere. Got this giant thing. Who would have known, by the way? Who would have known that this thing was here? So let's go back a couple of years and see what this place used to look like. 2000, I think 10 years is a good jump. So even 10 years ago, this thing looks in a much better condition. What if you go 2017? Yep, I mean, you can see it's casting a shadow. So whatever this white thing is actually elevated. I guess, like, you can see here in these pictures here that there's this kind of like white, like some kind of like scaffolding with cabling as well. You can see that here. Obviously, this is a 2D image, but you can see the shadowing there that's being cast from it. 2018, yep, still looks intact, although mild rot in the middle. Mild dilapidation in 2018. 2019, okay, bit of cloud cover or snow, potentially. 2020, still intact. 21, okay. This is where 2021 is where shit started to hit the fan. 2022, and this is basically what it looks like today. It's getting pulled up. Maybe because they're getting prepared to pull the UFO out the ground. Who knows? But if we go back to 2013, 2006, okay, it looks really nice and clean here. 2006 looks good. 05, 2003, 93, this probably won't look great. Oh, wow, we actually get some imagery here. That's cool. This is in 1993, which is when they were apparently still putting upgrades on it. And 1985 is going to look how we would expect 1985 to look. So, okay, let's go back to the actual imagery. I think this place definitely fits the idea that it could have been discovered here. It's kind of in the middle of nowhere. Too big to move. It fits that. Built a building over it in a similar shape of the craft. I think it can, you know, definitely fit that if we're going to go along the line that it's circular, which it might not be, but we do tend to lean that way. Serves a laudatory purpose. Does a radio telescope dish observatory, one of the biggest on Earth, serve a laudatory purpose? I don't know. Is it still a sensitive facility with people working on it? I don't know about that one. At least, you know, doesn't look like it. They've definitely fired the cleaners. Okay, they've definitely fired the maintenance man, if that is the case. He isn't working there anymore. Are people working in the best interests of Five Eyes countries? Potentially, because this is in Puerto Rico. And that is also not in the specifically continental United States. So it does tick that box if we're to go along the line that Ross was being clever with his words there. I don't know. It's a good one, and hopefully this is a new one for some people who didn't know about this one. But good little one to chuck in the back pocket, I think. I'm not totally convinced. I'm curious. Just get in the chat now. Is there any that we've looked at so far that you think is a good shout? Greenland, Alaska. I don't have any like saved on my behalf to look at Alaska, but if you guys have ideas, let me know because I'm more than happy to look at them. Like I said, guys, I need your help. I can't solve this by myself. I want your suggestions to look at. And please, whilst the strip clubs are funny a helpful super chat would be better. I do love a good laugh. Don't get me wrong, but a helpful super chat would be good. Zach Beach with $50 says, I feel like the one in South Korea is too easy, but it's perfect. I know, bro. I know. And thank you for the big super chat as well, Zach. You are a legend. The thing is with that one, I actually do think that that is something significant. I really do. But I don't think that is what Ross is talking about. And Stephen Greer kind of confirmed that in the clip that we looked at the beginning, right? He kind of said that he knows that like there is multiple. He said there are some in the United States, and that he said that this is, he kind of basically said that like this isn't that one, that it's a different one. And he also reminded you all that, he has briefed over 800 whistleblowers, and that, no one has spoke to more whistleblowers than him. Just in case you forgot, he was also a medical doctor, just in case you didn't know. Patient Meaning says Guam, U.S. territory, search S. Okay, we've got something to search here. Is this, can what you sent me be put into Google Earth though? Because they don't look like coordinates. Or is that something you want me to put into like Grok or something? Let's see what, yeah, nothing. Okay. Oh, it's thinking. It's thinking. Oh, we've got a hit. We've got a hit. What have we got here? Now that is interesting. That is interesting. What is that? Like, what actually is this? That's really interesting, dude. It looks like the South Korea structure. I mean, it does because it's circular, but it's not a building. It's not a building though. But why it's interesting is because clearly like they have this sort of like lightly excavated ground in a circular shape above it. But in the middle, and it's a shame that we're not even on the historical imaging here, but it's not giving me a 3D map, which is interesting. But it looks like there is a structure here in the middle, and even smaller roads that like lead out to like, I don't know, smaller things. Dude, this is really interesting. I've never seen this one. Does anyone know anything more about this? So for anyone who missed it, this is in Guam, which is, or at least is the entirety of Guam U.S. territory or just a section of it? So let's zoom out here and kind of gauge where we actually are. So this is Guam. Oh no, am I going to find it? I've lost it. It's okay. And so, yeah, this really is kind of, it's not amongst the suburbs and civilization, which I think that's a big tick for me. I'm definitely looking for places like that. Let's ask Grok, is Guam entirely U.S. territory? Yes, Guam is entirely a U.S. territory. It is an organized, unincorporated territory of the United States, meaning the entire island and its surrounding waters. My God, these people take everything. So it's okay. Guam was ceded to the United States by Spain in 1898 following the Spanish-American War. It became an official U.S. territory with the Guam Organic Act of 1950, which granted U.S. citizenship to its residents and established local self-government. Residents of Guam are U.S. citizens, use the U.S. dollar, and are subject to U.S. federal laws. But they can't vote. They can't vote, though. That's crazy. Anyone can vote in America. You don't even need ID. You don't even need ID to vote in America. But if you're from Guam and you're an American citizen, you can't vote. But if you're in America with absolutely no ID, come on in. Who cares? Who cares who you are? It's just electing the next leader. Who cares who you are? Sorry. There are no separate sovereign entities or non-US portions of Guam. The entire island is under US control with significant US military presence. Okay, interesting. So they've owned Guam for a long time. This isn't new. But it does fall within the last 100 years, which I think does kind of track, to be honest. Does anyone know anymore? Okay, let's put in what this thing is called, which is... Okay. FP4M plus 54. What is FP4M plus 54? Okay, it's saying it doesn't recognize anything like that. Well, okay, what if I give you a screenshot? This is a screenshot of a location in Guam. FP4M plus 54 is a Google Plus code, also known as Open Location Code, or OLC, a short human readable way to specify a precise location on Earth using a combination of letters and numbers. Okay, right. From the image description, there is a prominent large dark circular structure, appears to be a circular concrete pad or ring, or possibly an old radar dish foundation and placement, roughly 100 to 200 meters in diameter based on scale. Okay. This location is almost certainly a former US military radar or communications site in Guam's interior highlands, possibly near Mount Alafin. You know, I think that actually kind of tracks, to be honest. Like, one thing as well I think we need to think about is that, like, if this place is extremely sensitive, I feel like there's going to be a little bit more guarding it than this. I feel like the security on this place has got to be quite intense. Give Grok the Ross clues. Maybe a bit later. We've got a few places to check. We can maybe let Grok do a little bit of thinking itself later, but we'll check through a few more. Thank you for the super chat though, Bold Reese. I appreciate you, bro. Okay. I think this was really interesting though. Thank you for sending this one in. It does look a lot like the place we looked at in Puerto Rico as well, like its location. So the fact that it could be like a radar type thing, it does kind of track. It does make sense. Communication station. All right. What do we got next here? We looked at that. We looked at Guam. Okay, let's go to the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad, which is another one that's been talked about a lot by Pavel on Psychoactivo. He was the one who kind of first talked about this. Is this the right video? It is. Let's watch it from about here for about 5 minutes or so. Pavel looks at a clip from Ross speaking on Jesse's show, and then he talks a little bit more about it. So let's listen to this.
Please listen to what he said in this little tidbit and let me know if I'm just imagining things or not.
And so in the case of the buried UFO, I can't reveal, because if I reveal why I say this, it would compromise it. It's a very sensitive place. That should be enough of a guide for you. And to reveal the full extent of what I know would compromise the lives of young men and women who are doing good things for America, completely separate from the UAP program, and they're probably oblivious to what's sitting downstairs. And
what do you guys think he means by that? Probably oblivious to what is sitting downstairs. Well, I mean, obviously it means what it means, but like, Do you think it's as far as like it's not even a military facility? Like it's something, you know, to go like the other way, like it's like a Kmart? No, that doesn't track. It's a sensitive facility, but the people are oblivious. It still could mean it's not military though. Like it's like Parliament House, for example. It's not technically military, but it would still be very sensitive. It's laudatory. You know, it there are other things than military bases, like embassies, which I guess this is where this is going. I think that part's interesting.
And so in the case of the buried UFO, I can't reveal, because if I reveal why I say this, it would compromise it. It's a very sensitive place. That should be enough of a guide for you. And to reveal the full extent of what I know would compromise the lives of young men and women who are doing good things for America, completely separate from the UAP program, and they're probably oblivious to what's sitting downstairs.
I played it twice because I want you to please listen carefully to what he said. It's a very sensitive place. People who are working for America are oblivious to this. Their lives will be compromised. So if you think about that statement, there are very few places, or literally only just one place in the world that would have Americans working, and a lot of them, other than in America. Where would you think that is? An embassy. So this goes into a really deep rabbit hole that I was talking about yesterday with some of these people that I tell you about, whom I talked to a lot about different wild topics. And one of the wildest ones is a video I did a few months ago about a FOIA request, where you can see that somebody from Hillary Clinton's staff requested documents pertaining to, and I quote, the tomb of Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
And that leads into a really deep rabbit hole. If you guys did not know, the whole Epic of Gilgamesh and the Sumerians come from one place, which is Sumer. But in modern day, that place is Iraq. And
she wanted to know so she could build a pizza place on top of it.
And one of the biggest US embassies in the world, if not the biggest, is in Baghdad in Iraq. So just so you see the scope and the size, this is just the main building, but the whole embassy is a complex of buildings, not just that one. So are you ready for the big rabbit hole? Friend of mine, Asab Rocky, shout out to Asab Rocky. I'm going to leave links in the description for this video that he put out months ago too, about the Iraq and ancient artifacts rabbit hole that has to do also with the tomb of Gilgamesh and when it was announced that it may have been discovered. It was even in a BBC article, if you guys didn't know. Who is this man right here? This man, his name is retired U.S. Army intelligence analyst Edward Keith Albert. And back in February 15, 2023, he gave an interview to UFO researcher and journalist Linda Moulton Howe, who has a channel called Earth Files. He talked to her about this operation that they were ordered to go to Iraq and retrieve artifacts. And this is what happened. Shout out to my man, Asap Rocky, who put together this video, and see if you can spot the big elephant in the room and the potential clue to where this massive UFO may be. Because, yeah, Ross did misspeak. He said that Americans are working there. There are many of them, and they're oblivious to it. And what they're doing there is work for America. So that really narrows it down to an embassy, really. If you know any other place where there are a lot of Americans working for America, let me know, because I think that is an embassy. Here it is.
I think this is a really great shout from Pavel, but I don't necessarily agree that it's the only place because, like we know, Americans like to place themselves in many other countries to help deliver democracy and freedom all around the world. And they're stationed. They're in a lot of countries. They're in a lot of countries. They're in Australia. They're in joint bases in Australia with clearances over the Australians. Like, there are places in Australia where the Australian soldiers aren't allowed to know what the Americans are doing. Okay? So Alex says, yeah, sorry about that, guys. It's okay. It's cool, bro. We know it's not you. It's not you. It's just the way that it is. It's just the way that it is. But I do think there are a lot more places than just an embassy. But this is what we're going to look into. Now, in this video, Pavel goes on to show us this kind of sort of TikTok style video from this person, which goes for about 4 minutes, which we can watch if you want. So let me know if you want to watch that TikTok video in the chat. But while you're getting your answers in, I will just show you this, because this is exactly what he was referring to. For anyone who maybe didn't know or wasn't aware of it, this is part of the WikiLeaks drop that came years and years ago, and there was this request in here that I believe, like, this is from, you know, some kind of administration team on behalf of Hillary Clinton. And one of the items here, which is the only one, by the way, that's marked as closed, which you could assume means that it's like cleared, finished, done, you know. It says requesting documents pertaining to the resurrection chamber of Gilgamesh, the location of his body, and the location of the buried Nephilim. This was in the WikiLeaks documents. Okay, they want to know about the Nephilim. They want to know about Gilgamesh. And as Pavel mentioned there, it's pretty well known that this was discovered in 2003 in Iraq. In fact, I can probably pull it up for you very, very quickly. This is the famous article that kind of went viral when it happened. And it still kind of gets talked about today. I don't know why it's so small. This is like the original article here. You can see April 2003, Gilgamesh tomb believed found. Archaeologists in Iraq believe they may have found the lost tomb of King Gilgamesh, the subject of the oldest book in history. So it was like not long after this that then Americans were delivering democracy to Iraq. So a few people said they want to watch that video. So let's do that. And then we'll jump back to Google Maps and we'll go take a look at this place.
Here it is.
We're going into Iraq to get artifacts?
Hold on to your butts. I got another rabbit hole for you. It's pretty common knowledge now that the invasion of Iraq was based on false pretenses.
So it says here, in March 2003, U.S. forces invaded Iraq, vowing to destroy Iraqi weapons of mass destruction and end the dictatorial rule of Saddam Hussein. When WMD intelligence proved illusory and a violent insurgency arose, the war lost public support. Saddam was captured, tried, and hanged, and democratic elections were held. In the years since, there have been over 4,700 U.S. and allied troops deaths, and more than 100,000 Iraqi civilians have been killed. Meanwhile, questions linger over Iraq's fractious political situation.
The justification was weapons of mass destruction. People think maybe we invaded for oil, but could it have been something else? Some say that Bush wanted to finish what his dad started with Desert Storm. So how does this relate to hieroglyphics on UFOs? Well, during the first invasion of Iraq, the Baghdad Museum was looted. So let's entertain the idea that an ulterior motive for the war was to collect artifacts. This would actually be backed up by a whistleblower testimony in 2020 on Earth Files.
We're going into Iraq to get artifacts? Not to get anything but artifacts. That was the most important thing, they said.
But which artifacts?
I don't know. They just said artifacts. There were things in Iraq that were sold that we had to go get. And Bush wanted those artifacts. It was very important.
Did we get them? And if so, where did they go?
We got them. They said they got everything they needed from that country.
Where is it?
I don't know. We have it. Like you're looking for the Ark of the Covenant type stuff. You know, weapons like that. It's a weapon.
So whatever it is, we got it. What was it? This is going to sound crazy. In 2000...
Where is it? Any guesses where it is? Whatever they recovered, who's got some guesses where it might be?
In 2003, a team of archaeologists claimed that they might have found the tomb of Gilgamesh. Yes, the one from the epic, the half-god giant Nephilim Gilgamesh. But before they could complete their investigation, the Iraq War begins. And we set up our camp right on top of ancient Babylon. And this is so
Did you hear that? Right on top of it.
problematic.
What does this news story say? U.S. admits military damaged Babylon ruins. A senior U.S. military officer said Friday he is willing to apologize for damage troops in Iraq caused to the ancient ruins of Babylon. The ruins of the ancient city of Babylon are shown on July 16, 2003 from a nearby palace of Saddam Hussein. This is where I think maybe there's a little bit of confusion in this story, but let's keep listening to see what they say.
Problematic because of all the damage that was done.
Stuff happens, and it's untidy, and freedom's untidy, and free people are free.
He actually just said that. He actually just said that. Shit happens. Freedom can be a bit untidy sometimes. Hey, what are you going to do about it? Freedom's messy. You want freedom, don't you?
Are free to make mistakes and commit crimes and do bad things.
Finally, on April 29th, 2003, this story runs in BBC announcing the discovery. So days after this article runs, we declare the war a success, but we didn't find weapons of mass destruction.
Ain't that weird?
There are videos from inside the tomb. I have seen them. I don't know if they're real or not, but they are super interesting videos for sure. Whatever that thing is, very interesting. Okay, let's keep going.
It's a store of Christian memorabilia. And listen to this.
Coincidentally, one of the most important tablets which was looted in 1991 was the Gilgamesh Dream tablet. And it popped up back in 2019 in the hands of the owner of Hobby Lobby at his religion museum. And later we made what I believe is the biggest embassy in the world, right on top of ancient Babylon.
Hello. So, wow. I know that this
on top of ancient in the world museum. And later we made what I believe is the biggest embassy in the world, right on top of ancient Babylon.
So this is, yeah, again, where I think there might be a little bit of confusion with this story. Okay, so let's go take a look at the U.S. Embassy in Iraq. Going into Iraq. Okay, here we are. U.S. Embassy entrance. Hang on. This doesn't look right. I was just looking at this earlier. This doesn't look like what I was looking at. It also doesn't look like the pictures either. Hold up. Redacted. It's been redacted. I don't think I have it on this screen, unfortunately. God damn, I was just looking at it earlier. They have like a soccer field in there. This is not it. That is not it. Wait. No, it's over here. It's over here. This is it. United States Embassy, Baghdad. That's what I was looking for. I knew that wasn't it. Okay. There's a soccer pitch that I was talking about. So when I was looking at this, right, I was like, okay, this, like, how far does this place stretch? You can see there, they've even got it listed. There's an American flag. So you know that, like, at least this whole thing, you guys can see my mouse, right? You know that, like, this whole thing is, you know, this is a river or whatever. Back here is a body of water. So from this street we can see here at the bottom to the body of water is the United States Embassy. So it's like a enormous compound, right? But if we follow the fencing, the perimeter, this thing is huge. It stretches so far. And I literally think all of this up to here, I think this is the edge. This is all the United States Embassy. Okay? It's massive. And that's just that side. Okay, so this is where we came in with the flag here. Then it goes all the way this way too. Except I think this is a perimeter here where my mouse is. I think that's the edge there. I looked at this before the stream started. And then this chunk here is all it as well. Because this all looks like it's the same perimeter. And there's no other, signage. Like we can see American flag, US Embassy Baghdad. And when you zoom out, there are other signs around the place. So what I'm unsure about and what I think the confusion in this story is that I think people are maybe thinking that the US embassy was built on top of the Tomb of Gilgamesh, or where they think they found the Tomb of Gilgamesh. And I don't think that's the case. From what I've read, researching this whole Tomb of Gilgamesh thing, though, I do think the Americans did build something over it, like a temporary base. Like when you go somewhere and you set up like I don't know what it's called, like a temporary kind of barracks or whatever, they did that right over the top of it. That is a thing that people have spoken about. I don't think that's where the embassy is, though. So let's look on a historical view here, because this was what we would have been allegedly built. Okay, it's taken us to 2003 for some reason, which is interesting. I mean, it's a lot greener. It's still listed as the embassy. I don't know if... I think it was the embassy at this point. I mean, that's kind of interesting. Okay, so you got the embassy of Korea here, Italian embassy. So again, I just don't know if you'd have all these foreign embassies around here if there is a giant UFO underneath. This is 2002, 1985, which is probably, going to look like nothing. 2010. Let's see if these... Okay, so Embassy of Korea and the Italian embassy. Let's go to like 2015. They're still there. 2017. They're still there. Let's go to the 25. And they're still there. Okay, so that's obviously not a part of it. It's just here. I don't know. I think maybe there's a base that we don't know about, at least not like super publicly, that they've built something over. But I don't think it's here. Because again, another big thing is as well for me is that this is the photography from 2003. And if we zoom out, this is where the embassy is today. And I don't think it really existed here at that time. I think this is just like showing what it is today with these signs here. But if we zoom out, like this is in like the heart of Baghdad. You know what I mean? I just don't think we would have discovered that. This is interesting. Unknown soldier monument. Let's see what that looks like in 3D. I mean, that is kind of interesting, but I don't think, this isn't like US. I don't know if there's US soldiers working there. Looks interesting though. Grand Festival Square, Grand Festivity Square. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if it was somewhere around here, to be honest. But I don't know. Embassy. Honestly, I didn't think it, but just after this little rehash, I'm still... The one that ticks the most boxes for me is the Australian Parliament House. I don't know how you guys feel about that one. And I don't think I'm being biased. I think that... I don't know. So it's weird, man. It ticks every box. Happy Sparrow, celebrating 4 months, says, my download... They disguise the craft as a mining operation infrastructure. The structure could easily be written off in an industrial mining setting. Dude, that is so true. And there are a lot of big mine sites around Australia. This is one near Woomera, actually, very close to Woomera. It's called Olympic Dam. Let's go have a look at it. So again, just to show you guys where we were before. Where's Woomera? It's here. There it is. So Woomera, this is where we were before. And then if we just come up a little bit, you've got Olympic Dam. This is a big mine site. Don't know if there's Americans working here, though. Don't know if they're working in the best interest of our countries. Although maybe they are, because they're providing, I don't know, energy and resources. Yeah, it's an interesting shout. It is definitely an interesting shout, and it, like Ross's book says, could be hiding in plain sight. And I think Parliament House ticks that box too. That's a very in plain sight one as well. Dranox, you little freak, thank you for becoming a member. You too, Blues Park, you little weirdos. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate the support. Jen, celebrating 4 months, says, I'm going to keep saying it, but I think there's something to all these circuit board layouts of these, low key. Thanks for putting up with me. Proud to be a weirdo. It's my pleasure to put up with you, Jen. And that fascinates me too. When you look at these like pyramid plateaus from an aerial view, they do seem to resemble pretty similar to like circuitry, motherboards and things like that, to chipsets and stuff. Like it's very weird. Is it like an as above so below thing? I don't know. Like, are they acting like a piece of RAM into the earth, powering something? I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about, obviously, but these are the ideas that come into my head. Okay, Dranox with a $20 super chat. Thank you very much, bro. Very generous. Has given us some coordinates. He says, hey, from South Oz, try this. I hope it's not a strip club, but I'm not getting my hopes up. Okay. All right. We got something in Alaska. I can't. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. What is this place? There's no labels. Near Anderson. Okay, where are we in Alaska? Are we the right way up here? We are. Okay, so we're in like we're actually smack bang in the middle of Alaska, pretty much. And guys, one story that I've really never covered on the channel, but I've spoken about it a few times because I'm fascinated by it, is the whole Black Pyramid in Alaska. I'm sure many of you guys have heard about it. I'm pretty sure it is somewhere in this region. Like it's like in the middle, central somewhere. I don't know if it's related to this pin that we've just been given. But the whole this whole that there's an underground pyramid that's black in Alaska is an interesting one. So what is this? We're in 3D, but we're not getting 3D models. This looks like, God, the fact that it's not labeled is kind of weird, to be honest. But it looks like some kind of Air Force or military base. It's like I don't know, is this like an air traffic control? What's this? So this is the closest town, Anderson. Is there like a runway here? It's like an airport. I don't think that's a runway. That's like the road in. I don't actually think this is an airport. Oh wait, that's a run. That looks like a runway. Nope, that's a car. What is this? Dranox, do you know what this place is, or is this just something you found? $3D, you need to use Google Maps, not Google Earth. No, 3D does work in Earth for most places, but for some places it doesn't seem to. Let's just go over the top of this place. Interesting circular shape. Oh, there we go. There's an airport, clear airport. Okay, let's go back over the years. What do we have here? Oh, wow. Okay, this is taking us to 2003 straight away. Let's go 13. 19. 23. Like a significant amount more buildings there from 2000. So this is 2019. Oh, no. 23. No, never mind. And 2020. So this is the most recent one. Fascinating. Especially the location. Really is in the middle of nowhere. I'm definitely going to add that one to my arsenal. Because you guys have shown me a few places like that Guam one as well. We're really collecting a good few here that we can keep in the back of our mind. And I do think Alaska, it also fits the not in the continental United States. And I think there could be something in that. Why the big arc road? Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, like what purpose does that serve when you have this road running straight across? Who the hell's taking this road? That's literally like, do you want to take the scenic route or should we just go straight through? Because the only things that come off this road are this, which leads into like this like salty ravine or something. I don't know. That really is strange. That really is strange. I like this one. Thank you for sending that one in. We need names for these. We'll just call this Clear Airport, Alaska Clear Airport. Winston says, "Thank you, Josh. I'm gymming, then I'll tune in. Don't have to get weird if you stay. Don't have to get weird if you stay weird. Chat. Don't worry. We're always staying weird. Thank you very much, Winston." Dan Dobson, thank you, sir. Lene Space is out. Thank you very much. And Pinky Parker says, "Stay weird. They live, you know." They do live. They do absolutely live. Just like in the documentary. Okay, Dino has sent us some coordinates. And he says, "Zoom out a little, please check." All right, Dino, what have you got for us? Please not a strip club. Oh, where have you taken us? Oh, I see what you're getting at. Where are we? We are in... Sheesh, what country is that? We're in Turkey. Okay. I'm assuming this is what you're referring to, right? Is it just... I mean, yeah, of course it is. Damn, okay. And we're looking at this in historical. We're not getting 3D imagery on this one either. This looks like it's being constructed and excavated right now. Rambo says, "Yes, please be a strip club." So this is the most up-to-date imagery of this place, and it looks like it's a construction site to me. It looks... The buildings don't look finished. Let's go back on the historical imagery a little bit. Okay, this is... Let's go to 2019. Ooh, okay, this is new. This is very new. 2020, 2021. Okay, it looks like they only started this place in 2021, which I don't think really lines up with Ross Coulthardt's giant UFO, but this place is interesting. I just want to ask Grok what this place is. It looks like they've got like a rendered image here for what it is, for what it's going to look like eventually. Okay, it's answered me in Turkish. Fair enough. Okay, can you repeat in English? Easy mistake to make. I've only ever written to you in English, but suddenly you're writing in Turkish. It's okay. Mistake. We all make mistakes. Okay, it is a massive military headquarters complex being built in Ankara to centralize Turkey's top defense and military command structures under one roof, known as Turkey's Pentagon. It covers approximately 12.6 million square meters. It will house the Ministry of National Defense, General Staff Headquarters, Land Forces Command, Naval Forces, Air Forces, and a Central Operations Center and supporting units. Wow, so this is basically going to be the main military center in Turkey. Interesting. Don't think it's got a giant UFO under it, but the shape is a little bit cheeky. I'll give you that. Very cheeky. Prison Mike, you're a legend, sir. Thank you for gifting a membership. Stevie says, even if they found all the answers today in a cave revealing the truth about our past, they'll continue to hide it from us. Who is they, though? That's a good question. That's a good question, Stevie. How far up the ladder does it run? Probably to the interdimensional shape-shifting reptilians, if I had to hazard a guess. They're somewhere up the top. Patient meaning says Harold Holt Communication Station. Search FM F55M8G6. That was like the first thing that we looked at, but I will just search this just in case it's something different or close by. Yep. Okay, good. Glad I did. It's something different. Don't know what this is. This is in Indonesia. Yeah, this is in Bali. Is this the Garuda Vishnu statue? It's right next to it. Yeah, this is the Garuda Vishnu. I went there. I went there in one of my vlogs. You can't see. Wait, hang on. This is bigger than the Statue of Liberty, people, and you can't get a 3D image, so it doesn't matter. But this statue is bigger than the Statue of Liberty. Anyway, you can't see it, so who cares? Druzy says, I'm in the Australian Navy and I've seen some. Brother, hit me. Hit me with some tips. Give me some anonymous emails and clue me in. I won't tell anyone. Rambro, thank you for gifting a membership, brother. I appreciate you, as always. James Parker says, GCHQ intelligence building in the UK. It's sensitive. They've recently been building more around it and it's donut shaped. Yes. Thank you for sending this one in, James. This is actually one that I wanted to check out. So I'm glad you did that. Let me copy your coordinates because I did look at this one and it is very interesting. Let's check it out. Look at that. Look at that, people. That is a very interesting shaped building, no doubt. And we've got a 3D rendering, which is always lovely. It does kind of look like a stadium in a way. So yeah, this is a highly sensitive intelligence center in England. Is it in London? Cheltenham in London? Near London? Kind of. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's nearby. We'll say it's nearby. We'll give me that. Okay, let's take a look at this place historically and see how long it's looked like this. Let's go 2017. The year when disclosure began. Wow, it kind of looks exactly the same. Oh my God, that is a huge super chat. Wagwan Penting with $160. Bro, that's huge, man. I'm going to go get myself a nice 5-star dinner tomorrow. Thank you very much, man. Didn't even leave a note. But thank you, dude. That's huge support on the stream. Really means a lot. Let's get some love in the chat for Wagwan Penting. What a hero. Thank you very much, bro. I feel like the thank yous don't mean enough, but really, thank you. Okay, 2018. Okay, this thing's been here for a while. Okay, this is 2007. We might have to look at this thing. We might have to look this thing up on Grok. 2005. 1999. Okay, there we go. So it was built sometime between 99 and 2005, but there was still something here. It looks like they were still probably operating here, and then they just expanded significantly. There's a screen here from 1945. Wow. Why is the 1945 one clearer than 85? This is 85. And this is 45. Wow. That's really cool, though, that we've got that. Okay, let's... what was this place called again? GCHQ. Okay, tell me about the GCHQ. Government Communications Headquarters is the United Kingdom's primary intelligence and security agency specializing in signals, intelligence, and cybersecurity. It's one of the three main UK intelligence agencies alongside MI5 and MI6. Oh, wow. So this is a separate intelligence agency alongside the MI5 and MI6. Very interesting. Very interesting. GCHQ's official mission is to help keep the UK and its citizens safe by providing intelligence, protecting information, and informing government policy in an increasingly digital world. and finding people who are posting mean things on Facebook, finding their address and arresting them, finding people who post things that upset people. Yep. No, it doesn't actually say that, but it sounds like that's what they do. If you, according to the media. According to the media. Let's not get too off track here, though. Interesting place. Interesting place for sure. Let's zoom out. Let's go to the modern picture and zoom out. You know, there's not much rural land left in the UK. And, you know, let's go to 2005. There was still a lot of people living here. So this is in Cheltenham in England. Yeah, so even before it had this big expansion, there was a lot of people living around here. So again, the chances of them expanding on top of a UFO while all these people were living here, I feel like that's pretty, like, low. Interesting building, though. I'm still got Australian Parliament House as the front runner. I really do. Thank you for sending that one in, though, James. Appreciate it, brother. Frostradamus, not to be confused with Jostradamus, says, Josh, check out the Svalbard Global Seed Vault. Okay. I don't think, I mean, I've never looked at it. I've heard of it. I know what it is. I know what it does. They're actually going to be our main competitor in the market after the global cataclysm. And I'm going to be selling all your seeds for your fruit and vegetables at a 10x premium rate from the Polarity compound. This is going to be my main market competitor, unfortunately. Oh, wow. They've got an airport just for the seed vault. Damn, they really painted that thing red. They weren't kidding with the red paint on that. It's kind of weird. Seed vault. This is just like, I mean, the idea that they have this thing is like kind of scary. It's kind of scary that right here, buried into this mountain, probably quite deep, is a granite vault that has every necessary seed to restart a civilization. That's the purpose of this thing, to restart civilization. So that if everything gets wiped out deep in this mountain in a granite vault that your global elite can access conveniently from this airstrip here, post-cataclysm, can come to and restart civilization. And I guess that's the door. Kind of crazy. That's a UFO. No, I can't see anything that looks kind of UFO-y to me. This is interesting. We'll pull out a bit and we'll zoom out a little bit and wind the clock back. This is 2023. Let's go 2012. Oh, wow. That's scary. That it's scary that there seems to be significant improvements made in the last 10 years. Like they're like, okay, we really need to make sure the seed vault is ready to go. We really need to make sure the seed vault is ready to go. It's getting close. It's getting close, guys. Make sure we have direct access. Make sure the runway is clear. Make sure we have keys to the door. This is 2008, by the way. 2006. What, they didn't even have a door then? Damn, bro. We're in the end times. We are in the end times, people. Look at how prim and prepared. I think they've even got a gardener. I mean, look at this. 2008. This is a no man's land. There's snow creeping onto the runway. This is a no man's land. 2023. Actually, look, modern day. This thing is clean. They're planting flowers. They have a maintenance man. They have a gardener. Look, they've got planes in operation. We are getting close, people. We are getting close. Get your seeds ready. Buy your water. This is it, people. This is it. He's coming back. Yvonne says the Black Pyramid is in Antarctica. No, I think the story of the Black Pyramid is in Alaska, but there is a story of a pyramid in Antarctica that allegedly Buzz Aldrin saw. We can look at that a little bit later if you want, but yeah, Buzz Aldrin famously tweeted about seeing a pyramid in Antarctica, and he tweeted something saying like, "This is evil. It's pure evil. It's evil itself." And that tweet got deleted, but it naturally got screenshotted by a lot of people. So there's still lots of copies you can find over the internet. And then in that same time that he was in Antarctica, he was emergency evacuated with what the media listed as a heart attack, which is interesting. That's the story. Kind of crazy, right? UNAM's Un7 AM, you little freak. Thank you for becoming a member. That's quite a freaky name you've got there. And Wagwan Penting, did you actually do it twice, brother? Bro, he said, because he said, oh shit, I forgot to say keep up the fire work, homie. Bro, that's crazy, dude. Man, thank you very much. You are keeping me afloat out here single-handedly. Thank you very much, dude. The support means a lot. And I actually recognize your name, and I know that you've done big super chats like that in the past. So, don't think I don't remember, bro. Thank you very much for all of the support. And it's nice to see you here again. And Mystic Rose with the 12-monther. Look at that, people. Can we get some love in the chat for Tamara, Mystic Rose, with a beautiful orange badge? She says, Josh, check the Beehive Parliament building in New Zealand. It's part of the Five Eyes. Thank you. Thank you for the 12 months, Tamara. That is a big, long stretch of support, and it means a lot to me. Is it actually called the Beehive? That sounds like a trivial name. But let's take a look. Beehive, New Zealand. Okay, it looks like it is. Looks like it is. Perfect. It literally looks like a high tea. It looks like what a bunch of old ladies would eat off at a nice evening high tea. Okay, let's get some. Okay, let's look at the history of this area. It looks really small. It looks quite small, but let's look at the history of this area. Let's go to 2019. Oh, now it really looks like a high tea cake. That's a Vimana? Dude, it does. It does look like a Vimana. The Vedics were just really into high tea, so they modeled their spaceships off of it. 2013, 2011, 2009. Okay, so this thing's quite old. 2004. Yeah. 2002. 1985. Great song, by the way, Bowling for Soup. Okay, let's ask Grok about the Beehive. Tell me more about the New Zealand Beehive building. Huskers, you little freak. Thank you for becoming a member. I appreciate all of you weirdos supporting me today. The Beehive is the iconic circular building that serves as the executive wing of New Zealand's Parliament buildings in Wellington. It's one of the most recognizable structures in the country, often photographed alongside the more classical Parliament House next to it. Its distinctive rounded tiered design resembles a traditional woven beehive, which is how it earned its popular nickname, though its official name remains the Executive Wing. And it was officially opened in 1977 and originated in 1964. Okay, so built sometime in the 60s by a Scottish architect, or designed by Scottish architect Sir Basil Spence, who also designed the Coventry Cathedral. Was he a Freemason? Probably. Probably. Okay, interesting. Let's go back to this one. Yeah, I think as well, I'm sus on places close to water. It feels a bit too close to water for me to be the UFO, but it is an interesting building, that's for sure. It is large and it goes underground. Where do we go? Thing is, Wellington's an old city. And I think for something to be found like in the middle of the city like this, that must be their Parliament House just there next to it. Parliament Library. Yeah, I just don't know. I just don't know. Do I have anything else written here? Oh, I do. Okay, let's check this out. So I didn't cover this when it happened, but I wanted to. I wanted to cover this when it happened, and I didn't because, I don't know, I think I was busy or something happened. But this is a Reddit leak that popped up about Greenland, which has obviously been in the news a lot. So I'll just read it to you, and we can kind of go from there. This was posted yesterday by someone, then deleted. I took screenshots about UFO found in Greenland. They also deleted their account, not sure what to think. Interesting nonetheless. One of the archaeological UFO is located in Greenland and has been far too large to put it on any ship. At some point, according to my memory, maybe the late 50s, a large-scale installation was built around it. I only know a little about this specific case, but the building is roughly in the middle of Greenland, mostly underground and much longer in the west, northwest, east, southeast directions than in the orthogonal direction. There were a few years when the top of the building was visible on Google Earth, probably due to heating inside and the thin layer of ice above, but this was before 2010. I heard of this for the first time in 2006, early November. Coordinates of the installation should be approximately around... They gave us coordinates. We can look at them in a sec. I don't remember hearing anything about the shape of the object underneath, but I assume that it was neither spherical nor saucer-shaped. What I do remember is that it had a rather sizable container that was nearly empty, which probably storing nuclear material. Supposedly this was mostly empty when it was found, but I'm not completely sure about that. Interesting, though not relevant tidbit, that there was other large-scale underground installations created elsewhere in Greenland. See Project Iceworm. The approximate linear dimension of the object may have been similar to the 1997 Phoenix Lights triangle, but the shape was most likely not. You will probably be able to read more about this if the testimonies towards the IG have become public. Unconfirmed, but supposedly there were a lot of bodies, around 100 inside the object, perhaps much more than all the other bodies added together, and it played an important role in rejecting the ET hypothesis in favor of the time traveler ancient civilization hypothesis. Two probably relevant images are... and they post a link, which that'll be kind of hard to grab. But okay, I think I've got the coordinates here. Yeah, let's copy these and take a look. So apparently this is only visible before 2010 on Google Earth. So let's see if we can find it. I know people kind of looked into this a lot at the time. And like I said, I think I was busy or something. I don't know why I didn't look into it, but I remember it. Looking in the chat if anyone remembers this. Okay, it doesn't look like there's much there. A whole lot of nothing, actually, in these coordinates. But let's... Wow. It is kind of in the middle of Greenland, though. It does fit that. Does fit the bill there. But let's go to historical view. Wow, you've only got 3 different options. One is 2015, which is outside of when we want. And the other one's 1985, which is, this is what it looks like. This is what it looks like in 1985. Amazing. Amazing. Let's go back, though, because it's really interesting that just this specific area only has a shot from... It's actually 2015. That's the only shot. But when you zoom out, staying at 2015. So when you zoom out to here, though, you can get all the way up to 2020 and all the way back to 2005, 2009. They still don't really look like they're giving much definition. Okay, not really much in that. I don't really know. I mean, Greenland is interesting. Greenland is like basically the North Pole, right? Hey, look, is that the entrance to Agartha? I'm pretty sure this is how you get to Agartha and meet the real lizards. It's actually like a toroid vortex that takes you down into the inner earth. This is where Admiral Byrd was talking about. The Greenland is basically the North Pole, right? It's like the icy chunk of land at the opposite pole. No wonder it's significant. What's the summit station? I can't even tell how far I'm zoomed in because it's all white. Okay. That's a 2018 shot. It's kind of interesting. 2020, 19, 15. Okay, there's something here, but don't think it's a UFO. What else we got, people? I have one more here on my list. This was given to me. I haven't actually looked at it, though. So get your last suggestions in the chat if there's any more that we can look at. This is the UN HQ in Vienna. Take a look at this place. Oh, okay. Okay. Let's get a historical view. Definitely is interesting. That's for sure. Especially this part. How big is this? I'm trying to get like I feel like I'm really zoomed in here. Like people could walk through here. That's how close in we are. Like, are these little things here? Like, are these seats? Diego Garcia. We should look at that. We should go look at Diego Garcia. Okay, this place is interesting. This is the UN HQ. That building's also extremely interesting. Wow. This one's like a little, there could be multiple. Let's look at this one historically. These like triangular, like triple boomerang shaped buildings. I feel like they actually have a name. This shape has a name. Okay, let me go back. Let's wind back time. Let's turn back time, just like Cher did. Was it Cher? Did Cher do that? I think she did. She wanted to anyway. If only. Okay, 2019. Pretty much no difference. Yeah, this is the modern day. This is 2019. 15. 14. 11. Okay, they're not really getting much out of this one. 2008. What the hell are those? This looks like circuitry. This looks like circuitry. 2004. 3. 1985. Yeah, we love the 1985 photos. It seems like they did a big global scan in 1985 and it all looks like shit. Okay, I'm going to ask Grok about this one. When were the UNHQ buildings designed and built? And also, where the hell are we? We're in Vienna, Austria, on the border, pretty close to the border, actually, of Hungary, Slovakia, and Czech. The UNHQ complex in New York City. I mean the one in Vienna. The United Nations office at Vienna, often referred to as Vienna International Center, is one of the 4 main UN headquarters alongside New York, Geneva, and Nairobi. Damn, there's one in Nairobi? That's so random. It's the complex in Vienna, Austria, housing UNOV, the International Atomic Energy Agency. Okay. The United Nations Industrial Development Organization, and other UN entities. Design phase. An international architectural competition was held in 1968, attracting 288 submissions from architects worldwide. Austrian architect Johann Staber was selected as the winner, and his design was officially announced on December 18th, 1970. Work began in 1972. Some sources specify 73. Okay, so this building was built in the 70s. Here we go. The Vic features 6 Y-shaped office towers up to 127 meters. That's quite tall. That's like the size of, that's like taller than the Statue of Liberty. That's my reference point for everything now, by the way. I measure things in statues of liberties. I'm just warming up for my freedom tour. That's how you guys do it, right? You have like yards, feet, miles, and statues of liberties. That's your unit of measurement. The Austrian government financed and built it as a gift to the UN and related organizations. Okay, that's kind of sus, to be honest. Who is the architect? Johann Staber. Let me ask about him. What else did Johann Staber design? Johann Staber was an Austrian architect best known for designing the Vienna Center. He was basically unknown before that. And that's it. That's weird because there's a similar story about the Parliament House in Canberra. Who was the architect behind Canberra? Walter Burley Griffin. That's right, because the river in Canberra is called like the Burley Griffin River or something. The Australian in 1911, 1912, the Australian government ran an international competition to design a new federal capital as a compromise location between Sydney and Melbourne. Why? Griffin's entry won first prize out of 137 submissions. His design featured a distinctive layout integrating natural features like blah, 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 blah. With grand axes, geometric patterns, and a focus on harmony between the built environment and the landscape. Okay. Was Walter Burley Griffin a Freemason? There is no reliable evidence that Walter Burley Griffin was a Freemason. The Wikipedia entry. Instead, they highlight his interest in anthroposophy Rudolf Steiner's movement. Damn, I don't even know. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, or maybe I've just not heard of it. Theosophy. God damn. Okay, so right. So he was interested in the occult and esoteric. A Masonic-focused Australian site, Lodge Devotion, explicitly lists him under sometimes claimed unlikely to be Freemasons, noting that while he's included in some unreferenced online lists. Okay, so there are lists on site. There are lists on the internet and a Masonic site in Australia that explicitly lists him as a sometimes claimed unlikely to be Freemason, noting that while he's included in some unreferenced online lists, no corroborating evidence exists for his membership. Okay, so you don't have evidence of his membership, but I guess like that would apply to all Freemasons, right? Like they don't post their fucking ID. Sorry, they don't post their ID card on the internet. Like it's not. It's not like you register for your tax online. So he was a Freemason. So I conclude that yes, he was a Freemason, and I was right. And you know, the entire city looks like a square and compass. So it makes sense. It makes sense, and that's what I'm going with. Do we have anything else? Do we have anything else that we can check out? How long have we been going? 2 hours. Wow. Time flies when you're having fun with a bunch of freaks. Honestly, look, I'm not going to go start making videos going, the giant UFO is buried under Canberra. It's buried under Canberra, the Parliament House. I'm not going to do that. But out of everything that we've looked at, this place ticks every box. And it's also such a unique, it's like not even the building itself is unique, but the history behind it is unique. I'll go over it again for anyone who missed it, just because I'm fascinated by it. And I like talking about it. Okay, yeah, let's go look at Diego Garcia just because it's an interesting place. Okay, Susie's hit us with some coordinates. We'll check them out after Diego. Damn, this place looks like Bikini, like that Bikini Atoll. Wow. Bro, imagine knowing what goes on here. Actually, I think it's I think this building is where MH370 is kept. I think this is the one that they keep it in. Or maybe one of these drums. I don't know. It's one of them. It's definitely one of them, obviously. These like little stretches of land, though, they're so interesting. I wonder if there's something about land like this that is like strategic or useful, because Bikini Atoll in the Pacific is basically where the United States like just took over like after the war and were like, hey, everyone, hey, locals, we live here now because you need democracy and we're actually giving you freedom, okay? So get out. We'll tell you the best way to live. And now we're in charge. And then they use this as like a safe haven to launch nuclear weapons tests. But again, like I just found it interesting that it's like this weird like snake stretch of land. Like, is something about that interesting or important? I don't know. Easy for the underwater beings to pull up? Yeah, for sure. They can pull up right anywhere here. Anywhere in the middle. They got a whole bunch of them too. I don't know if these ones have democracy, but they've got an airport. That's probably a good sign of some kind of democracy. Wow, I wonder what, like, you know, like, I guess, you know, if the sea levels dropped, these must be like the, like, ridges on a mountain, right? Like that, it's like the peak of a mountain. But it's just low enough that the rest of it is kind of buried. Nice dose of radiation too. Oh God, yeah. Absolutely. This part of the Pacific is absolutely where you're going to fish up like a three-eyed fish, a shark with two heads, all of that kind of stuff. Absolutely riddled with radiation, all in the name of freedom, of course. Okay, Susie, let's get to your coordinates. Before we do though, 420 Breezy says, I just thought about how COD Zombies lore feels like it has sprinkles of truth hidden in it. Took me like 10 minutes to type this out because of this damn super chat autocorrect. Much love, y'all. Thank you, bro. I thought you were going to say it took me this long because I was so high, but maybe it's both. Maybe it's both. And dude, I think there is truth sprinkled throughout video games, throughout our media. Absolutely. I'm not actually super familiar with COD Zombies specifically though, so I can't really comment on it. But I wouldn't be surprised, bro, at all. All right, Susie, let's do it. What have you got for us? Is this whole thing one whole coordinate? A south or west? So you got a south here. It looks like you give me a bunch. So let's just try these. These better not be strip clubs, Susie. Oh, okay. We're in Antarctica. I don't think they have strip clubs there. What do we have? We have a giant crevasse. We have a plumber's coin slot. Yep, it is a coin slot. Interesting. There's not even. Oh wait, sorry, I'm in the wrong thing. Let's see if there's any historical photography here. This is 2012. Yep. 1999. 1985. Horrendous. Okay. Not much we can do with that, but I mean, how high up is this? I mean, it is interesting because initially when I was looking at it, I just thought it was like a small body of water, but I don't think it would be that in the middle of Antarctica. It's obviously something. It could be like a ridge with casting a shadow. Let's go back to the original. Oh, this is the original. So this is the most up-to-date picture and it's from 2012. It doesn't really look like there's shadow being cast though. So it looks like that is something like in the snow. Yeah, there's no 3D here either. Okay. What you had a few more for us, Susie. Let's check them out. Are we staying in Antarctica? Yes, I'm so glad. Damn, where'd you pull these from, Susie? This is interesting. It doesn't really look like a facility, but it does look like the features in the landscape are man-made. I mean, it's definitely man-made. That just doesn't happen in nature, but there's like no buildings. Let's see if there's historical pictures for this one. Okay, so this is 2012, 2006. Hello? That's weird. When you zoom out, it looks different. 1999. Nope. 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 Okay. Is there anything even nearby here? Just a whole lot of ice. What's this? No, nothing. All right, you got one more for me, Susie? She spoilt us. She spoilt us with 3. Hopefully we're staying in Antarctica still. Yes, we are. Let's get out of historical. Okay. We're not getting much on this one. By the way, guys, speaking of Antarctica, I interviewed Eric Hecker the other day, and that'll be coming out on the channel soon. That was interesting. Feel like I got a little bit out of him that maybe we haven't heard before. And, you know, kind of got his opinion on a few other things about like disclosure, Trump disclosure, his experience as a whistleblower, and, you know, who he's feeling a little sus on. Yep. He didn't hold back at all. So that'll be coming soon. Okay. This isn't giving us much, unfortunately, but thank you, Susie. Appreciate you as always. RV celebrating 4 months says, don't have a location suggestion, but got a free super chat for 4 months members. So I just wanted to share the love for the weirdos and Josh. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And your 4 months of support. Lene says S range, Sweden's NASA. Okay. We'll type that in. Kelly celebrating 6 months says, isn't it more likely to be a naval base? Why do you say that, Kelly? Why do you say that? Yeah, why do you say that? I don't know. I don't think so. Unless you have a good reason. Thank you for the 6 months, though. And Dan says the octagon in Egypt, just for fun. The octagon in Egypt? I don't even know if I know what you're referring to. Actually, maybe I do. But I don't know what to... Unless this doesn't come up. Okay, no, this wasn't what I was thinking. I don't even know if I've looked at this before. It's pretty wild. So what is this? Like, where are the buildings? That's what. These are like 5-lane roads each way. These are like 5 lanes here. Look how big the roads are, and there's no traffic. Like there's not even one car anywhere, and they're like accommodating this place like it's you know, LA or something. What the hell? And you know, we don't have 3D imaging here, which sucks. But I guess these are the buildings. It's kind of hard to tell. Is this place new? Ministry of Defense. Let's go. Wait. What happened there? Okay, wow. It must be kind of new. Let's hold it here, and then we'll wind back the clock. Let's go to 2020. Okay. It's even changed a lot in 5 years. Yeah, wow. It's done heaps in 5 years. That's 2025, 2020. Let's go 2015. Oh my God, it doesn't even exist. 2016, 18, 17. Wow. It looks like they're digging underground here as well. You can tell by the shadow. Yeah, look at this. You can tell they're building out the ground. You can see because of the shadow. This is like the, you know, baseline infrastructure. Don't think it's the UFO, but you know, a lot of these shapes are very cheeky. Maybe they're trying to throw us detectives off the scent. Us digital autists looking for the giant buried UFO. Oh man. What a time to be alive, right? What a time to be alive. We get to sit here in the comfort of our own homes, looking at maps of the entire world, having fun together, hunting something that we have no idea if it's even real. And we are all heavily emotionally invested in it. What a time to be alive. This is one that I covered on the channel. You might that might look familiar to you. We'll just throw it in to cover it off. Why not? This was a John Lear leak, and I actually think there's something under here. By the way, like I think this is a real story. I don't think this is the Ross Coulthart giant UFO, but this is it's actually a pretty fascinating story, and I did a little deep dive into it on the channel. It's in Utah. That's it, near Garrison, Utah, and yeah, there's like a whole story behind it, and basically this triangular wedge shape here is the ground that was excavated to move this craft, allegedly, of course. And like in the deep dive, I show photos. There's like photos of Linda Moulton Howe going out here, and I think if you look at the historical imagery, it's like, yeah, there are these like old houses here, or they used to be. Maybe not on there. There's like these old houses here somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, if you're interested, go watch the video. But that's that. That's that one. I just thought we'd touch on it while we're here. MLG, thank you for the super chat. From Roots to Radicals says, check out Groover 3 one more time and tell me that does not look like a craft crashed into the ground, not flat but vertical. Groover 3, you said Groover 3 one more time, but I don't remember looking at that at all. Unless it's something else. Yeah, we haven't looked at this, have we? Oh, we have. This is the seed vault. Tell me that does not look like a craft crashed into the ground, not flat, but vertical. Oh, right. Okay, but you mean the seed vault entry. You must mean the seed vault entry because that did kind of look like that. And that's what you said the first time, the seed vault. There it is. Yeah, well, is that what you mean? Because I don't know, bro. I don't know about that. It's too perfect. Like if that's what you're referring to, I think it's too perfect. But if you actually did mean Groover 3, I can't even really see what you'd be referring to here. I don't think you meant this. I think you meant the seat vault because that's what you said originally. I don't know, bro. Yeah, it looks a bit too perfect to me. You know, it's neat. There's nothing protecting it. You know what I'm saying? They'd be hauling off the entrances to that place, and it'd be a no-go zone. You know what I mean? We got one more thing here that I just found when I was just looking at stuff for this. So this was a post I found on X. I have no idea the validity of it. 2 objects were spotted via Google Maps over a wooded area in Rio Branco do Sol, Paraná, Brazil. Apologies to the Portuguese speakers in the chat. I'm butchering your language. Let's take a look at this one. I think this will be the last one unless we get any more suggestions in. What the hell? This one looks like an actual fighter jet on the left, and this one just looks like a UFO. Okay, where even are we? Huh. Have any of you guys seen this before? Is there anything on the post? No, there's nothing on the post. Okay, so we have 0 context. We'll go historical images first. So the latest image that we have here is 2023. This is 21. Oh, wow. Okay. So it's literally just in the most recent pictures of Google Maps. I mean, like, bro, what are the chances that this is actually something flying over the forest that's been snapped top down? And that's why it's not here. Because, like, what the fuck is this place? Like, look, this is just dense. This is just dense jungle. Who the hell? Wait, what's that? That looks like a cell tower, like an electricity tower. You can actually see the cables here. Oh yeah, you can see there. Okay. So there's some kind of like cell tower thing here. And then in this one, there's that. Dude, that's actually really interesting. What is that? There's no way this isn't a building. I don't think. These aren't buildings, in my opinion. This is something moving over the top of the forest, I think. Purely based on the fact that, like, there's nothing here. There's nothing here around it. There's no sign of civilization at all. At all. Except this random little dock thing here over there. But if it's not, someone's hiked through the bush and decided to build a spaceship hut. I don't know. This is a weird one. I mean, it's not the giant buried UFO, but it's very interesting. It's very interesting. I would love to find out more about this. Like I said, I literally only found these coordinates before the stream started here. So I don't have any context. Maybe we'll have to look into this one a bit more and come back to you guys with an update. Kat Simpson celebrating 13 months. Wow. She says, Josh, did you watch Reese the UFO's video from the other day? It was awesome. I did, Kat. And yes, it was fantastic. I was thinking of maybe even covering a small section of it in the next video I did. But if anyone's interested, we're probably going to be wrapping up in a minute. You want to go watch a really cool, well-researched video about the psychic connection with UFOs and, you know, or their connection to us through consciousness. The UF Aussie on YouTube, go check him out. A fellow Aussie researcher. Great bloke too. We got a couple more here from Susie. We've got one more. She says 2 remote viewers went to this one, Bunga Hills, Wilkersland. All right. Thank you, Susie. Oh, there was a bit of snow there and then it went away. Where are we in Antarctica again? Yep. Damn, you're all up in that Antarctica, aren't you, Susie? That's your favorite conspiracy theory, isn't it? You're an Operation High Jump girl. I respect it. You're sending me interesting looking locations, but there's like no context and there's no building either. So it's definitely not the giant buried UFO, but they are some interesting locations. And I feel like, you know, God, Antarctica. I'm not surprised it's your favorite conspiracy theory because it is a very interesting place, Antarctica. And we're going to learn a bit more about it with my interview with Eric Hecker coming out. I'm not going to say when because I'm not sure, but I'm hopefully like Sunday, Monday. I'll say Sunday, Monday. That's what I'm aiming for. I've actually only got a couple of streams left here. So I'm leaving Bali on, oh God, Friday? I think Friday. No, Saturday. I'm leaving Bali on Saturday. So I'm going to try and stream tomorrow, the day after that, and then that'll be it. And then while I'm sort of traveling and getting set up somewhere else, I'll hopefully have a couple of videos being posted while that's happening. And then we'll be back for a stream at some point in a new location. It may not look as fancy because I might have to just do it from my laptop. I don't know. But that's what's happening. So just a little update that no one asked for. Guys, I hope you had fun today. I know we didn't actually find the UFO, but we did. I at least personally learned of a whole bunch of new places that are very interesting that I'm going to remember and keep an eye on as we continue to uncover this story. But I hope you guys had fun, and I hope you guys at least learned something too. I hope we all found some new places to check out. Thank you for hanging out. As always, I just, you know, I love coming together like this. It really feels special that we all have a place that we can just hang out and be our weird selves with our strange little conspiracy theories that we love. And I just appreciate you guys being here. So thank you all very much for the support. Keep being good to each other. Before I say my last couple of words, I just want to acknowledge, actually, first of all, I want to acknowledge my mods. Mods, thank you for the hard work that you do. I appreciate it. The Polarity chat is no easy feat. We get the weirdos of all kinds here, and you guys do a lot of great work, so thank you. But I also want to acknowledge the members, first of all, for supporting, but also for the fact that when I hit the button here and I go, that the names on that screen have not been updated for like 2 months, okay? And I'm sorry about that, and I apologize, and I'm going to update it soon. So if you have been a member, if you are an active member and you have been a member for more than 1 month, your name will be on there very soon. So I do apologize for that, but I will fix it soon, okay? So thank you to the members, thank you to the mods, and thank you to everyone else who comes and shows support regularly. It really means a lot that I can do this and we can have this cool community together. So keep being good to each other, be kind, get outside, touch some grass, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace.
Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on?
No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light in our galaxy. Everything. Because everything is in balance. Everything is a polarity.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is.